care, but like, it's like
Well, guess what? We're live.
well, we can trim off that first 30.
Well, how's it going, buddy? It's Pancake Mix, episode 2, and you're back for another one. We had a pretty adventurous day, wouldn't you say? And just so everybody who's tuning in, our future followers, this is Zachary Calm, back for some more action.
Yeah, it's Zach Calm. My
Zach
pronouns are he
Calm.
and his and
How are
him.
you? How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. We were just commenting on this new show called Scoob, and it looks retarded. But yeah, we had an eventful day, haven't we?
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting one to say the least. I'm telling
Shall we?
everyone that we're live right now. Hold on, I'm putting up the. I'm letting the virtual advertising run its course.
Yeah. So while you do that, I guess I will update our audience with what we had to kind of witness today. So we drove into Los Angeles. Well, I mean, you live in the Valley,
We all
right? Or
live in the
Studio
valley.
City.
Yeah,
Why?
Studio
Yeah,
City.
but well, I drove from Camarillo
Oh yeah,
because I'm
yeah.
staying up north. But while this whole thing, while the while everyone kind of hashes things out, I just want to be a little safer. So I'm kind of keeping my distance from, crowds. And I mean, what better time to have an American Revolution, like the sequel, right after the coronavirus?
Yeah.
What better time? And what did we see? We saw a lot of things on fire. Saw a lot of
A lot of people
protesters.
gathering. There was definitely a lot of tourists. There was a
We were
lot of
part of the
people
tourists. A lot of
that just
rubberneckers.
wanted to see the world burn, essentially, and kind of be a part of that whole process.
Yeah, when I think of the Bolshevik Revolution, it's like this was that times like egotistical, like social media stars, I guess. Like just
Right.
these, it's like it's so funny because protesters of the 60s are so much different than protesters of the day. There's like this sort of like sense of me.
Hmm.
I need to be a part of it. I need to capture this. So we have the protesters, and then even greater of a mass of people are the audience. It's like an onstage, it's like a presence. It's like, you take away the live shows and people still come out for, you know, any form of entertainment.
Right. All right, I'm going to boot up the campaign here, and we're going to get into the nitty-gritty, people. We have a couple of things to talk about. Just so everybody knows, this is kind of what's going to be on the itinerary for tonight. Like Zach said, we were out in downtown LA in the Fairfax district, where people have been protesting throughout the day, but more that developed at the Grove, which is in the Fairfax district. I guess the whole place got looted. Melrose Avenue or whatever it is, Melrose Boulevard or whatever, it got looted. And just so a lot of people that don't know what these districts are, it's very much the fashion district for LA, and more specifically, kind of the streetwear, more boutique style clothing stores. A lot of people go there. You'll find right on Fairfax, they have Supreme, Golf Wang, they have all Flight Club, which was one of the big institutions down there that got hit and raided. That's where a lot of people do sneakerheads go and shop there for the latest stuff. So yeah, it's
Which,
definitely.
let's talk about sneakerheads.
Well, let's talk. Well, let me finish the itinerary here for what's
I don't
happening
feel
tonight.
bad for sneakerheads.
Hey, all right, I will tell you. I have a story about sneakerheads. Make sure to. I think I need to invite you. Are we in the same thing here? How do I
Um,
invite again?
I think,
Oh, we're playing online. I was doing offline. That's why.
yeah, yeah. Well,
Um, the other topics that we're going to have discussed, which kind of go in tandem with everything
Jeffrey
that I
Epstein, of
just
course,
said.
we
Yeah,
always have to
Jeffrey
touch
Epstein
on
will
Jeffrey
wiggle its way in
Epstein.
there, but more importantly, Evangelion Neon Genesis and what that means to humanity today. I feel like that film has some resurgence in terms of like philosophies that people are trying to push, and you and I are very well versed in Neon Genesis, so we have some talking points that we want to bring up with that. And then Frederick Nietzsche and philosophies that we discussed earlier today that I think would be good to get some of our future audience into, you know?
Yeah, I think this will be an episode you can listen to over and over again, and you can really, pull something new from each watch and listen.
And just so everyone knows, we were in the mix of it tonight. We were there spectating, trying to see what was happening. We had some people saying, "Why are you out there? Come back," and all of this stuff. And I totally understand
I didn't
where
get
that
any of that.
perspective is coming from. But at the same time, for someone like us who wants to analyze this situation, discuss it, not necessarily give a remedy, but to see what's unfolding, I think to witness something with your own eyes will give you a broader perspective on such issues, and for us to be there, I feel like this is going to only aid us to maybe further discuss this stuff. All right, I'm going to send you an invite. You're in Battlefield, dude. That's what it says.
Does it matter?
No, I sent you an invite.
Uh, I guess it just automatically, it just put me in there. I don't know.
It's all,
I'm still learning this whole video game thing out. I'm a noob.
it's all
That's what they
good.
call us.
But yeah, so just kicking off here, we're going to be playing some Broforce. We played this last time. An amazing game to have discussions, but at the same time, put our video game wits and skills to the test. Definitely shout out to Broforce. I think everybody should download it on the PS4. It's definitely going to be worth the dollars that you spend out of your bank. I know it's hard right now, but let's be honest. Video games are one of America's great pastimes. And, what else we got to do besides try to, keep ourselves sane? So diving into the first topic, Zach, which we were talking about just a couple minutes here ago, was tonight's riots. And I think this is now, protests. This is now what, the second day of protests in LA, I think? Full-fledged protests?
Third. Well, I guess are we counting from
The killing?
Minneapolis too?
I'm
Yeah.
more or less just counting. I guess we can kind of go over the whole story just for anybody that doesn't know it. People need a recap. I feel like you might know a little bit more about this subject in terms of how it played out if you want to take that.
Yeah, I mean, we all know how an office.
Sent you an invite again.
Well, oh, I thought we were in. Press
Oh,
square.
okay.
Um, for an obscene amount of time, as onlookers watched and begged him, and the man who was, you know, um, George Floyd begged for him to let up, and this moron cop, Officer Chauvin or whatever the hell his name is, continued, and then his retard accomplice cops just watched because they're powerless fools who only protect themselves. And
This one's
so,
hard.
yeah. So, it was a
Yeah.
murder. It was a first-degree murder, and the I think we're seeing that there's.
Fuck.
You can save me.
Uh,
But anyway, there was
mhm.
it's another example of what the issue with not only law enforcement but the people, the masters they serve, the governors, um, the district attorneys, the everyone who's in charge. They feign like they care, but they really don't care, because if they
Yeah.
actually care, they would do something about it. They're really good at giving lip service, and people have basically said, you know what, enough is enough. You can only, you know, fool us a few times, and you can say peaceful protest all you want, and you can bring up Martin Luther King Jr., and you can say all this stuff, but let's not forget the CIA, or the FBI tried to blackmail him,
Yeah.
and then he was basically assassinated by American intelligence agencies, and then we're gonna use him as an example for peaceful protest. Peaceful protest doesn't work, and we've seen that time and again. And anyone who's fighting this is obviously part of the problem. And so
Oh,
I
just
think I think there's a
yeah.
lot of good. I think there's a lot of good reason for what's going
Right.
on, and I think it's awful what happened to Mr. Floyd, but at the same time, I think we're also we can't forget that we're coming off of coronavirus and
Right,
businesses
where
being shut
tensions are
down.
already high.
And yeah, and not only we people might have received a crummy $1,200 stimulus packet or bill or I mean check or whatever, but you know, $1,200 doesn't really go far, especially in like places like Los Angeles,
Yeah.
and $1,200 for like what 3 months. Like it's a slap in the face. While these billionaires get millions, they become so much more richer off of coronavirus. It's absolutely absurd. This is a revolution. People aren't having it. Why do you think they're burning down Targets? Why do you think they're burning down corporation, like anything that's corporate? Because people are fed up. You can't steal from people, and then like
Uh,
this was bound to happen. And frankly, it's a wonder it hasn't happened sooner.
yeah, and we were talking about this just with the time frame of anything like the last significant event that's played out. It just seems like we're due for something like this really to come to fruition. Nice. When considering everything that's been going on recently, 2020 just has now officially, I think, surpassed most people's expectations with what's unfolding.
Yeah, 2019 sucked personally, but 2020 was
I love
I
this
don't know.
Men in Black guy. He's just like
It's like that
impossible to
crooked guy.
control.
Yeah,
He's so good.
he is good. But
Oh fuck! But that's what always happens with the Men in Black guy. He always
that's
just
true.
you shoot and then he flies somewhere off the map.
It's a
So yeah,
double-edged
getting
sword.
into what's the whole background of what played out tonight. Zach and I, we live in Los Angeles. We ventured into downtown just to see with our own eyes how things were going to play out. Just with everything that's happening, everything that he outlined, it just feels like it's almost time for there to be some type of event, whether that's a revolution, that could be that's a very big and bold word, and I don't necessarily think that would be the outcome, but you honestly never know. And just to be a creative in this time, this is an amazing period to witness how stuff changes, how societies change, how perspectives change, and what it takes to essentially have those changes be put into place. I think there's a lot of people that want to be vocal, and while I think you have the right to be vocal, at the same time, if you're going to be vocal and you want to see a change, it only makes sense to question and to see what's happening with your own eyes than to feel scared. And don't get me wrong, if you don't want to go out and see that, I don't think this is necessarily something that people should be seeking to do. But if you want to have a deeper understanding and you want to have an opinion on this, and you're just watching the news and you're not doing any deeper form of investigation, I feel like then do you really have the platform or the understanding that you need to properly articulate your thoughts, And that's something that you and I were talking about. There's a lot of people right now that are just kind of on the periphery and not putting themselves in the scenario to actually learn from what's like unfolding around ourselves. Um, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, like we've talked about, I'm a student of I'm a student of history.
yeah,
I appreciate. I mean, let's retrace some other revolutions, and I want to say like a lot of times you never really see revolution. I mean, you see revolution
nice,
coming, but
right.
when revolution happens, it's usually under circumstances that are not quite how as idealistic as you would think it would be.
Hmm.
I think that's important to note. I mean, when we look at the Bolshevik revolution, now that was a little different with the Russians and uh, post World War One, and we're talking about uh,
Oh, got big dog coming in.
basically
Oh, watch out. Fuck. That was my fault.
we're talking about a system of
Yeah.
serfs where people weren't allowed to afford a good life for their families, and they weren't able to get ahead. And I mean, these are a lot of parallels to what's happening in American society because we have people like
Nice.
Goldman Sachs executives who are running, you know, the Treasury Department. We have Steve Mnuchin and his cunt wife, and like they're just taking advantage of the system. And
Alright.
And this has been happening ever since the Federal Reserve System. I mean, ever since the Federal Reserve was enacted by Woodrow Wilson. Fuck. Um, Ever since, it was always a banker that was ahead of that. And I hate to break it to everyone, but you can't have a banker who has motivations to financially better himself and his company and his constituents, not his constituents, but rather his own interests. And it's, I mean, it's never worked out. It was never the answer. It simply never was. And I think what has happened was
Oh my God.
we're not just living a system of capitalism. People say they're capitalists and they like capitalism. This is the grossest part of capitalism. Like, people want to talk shit on communism. I'm not a communist. I'm not saying communism's right, but you need to have you need to you need to have checks and balances for capitalism for capitalism to work too.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, anything you do, that's just what it comes down to. I mean, for me, I just don't know if there's any perfect system, and that's.
But what's more capitalist than shoe people? What do you call them? Sneaker people?
I mean, I'll tell you this. I didn't know anything about sneaker culture.
Like, you know what? I would rather see them in prison. Can we take out some of these people who were in prison for like marijuana charges, and can we just arrest all the sneaker people?
Dude, I don't know. I feel like... See, I went and thought the whole sneakerhead thing was dumb. My friend Greg Coomer, shout out to you, going to be on the... He's going to be on a short stack tomorrow, actually, so we'll be able to talk to him about this exact conversation.
You should be in jail right now. I love you. I don't know you, but you should be in jail.
No, dude, the community, just like anything, if you can convince me that you like something and you have passion for it, I think there's a beauty in that. And just like any hobby, I was wrong about sneaker culture, and it was pretty fun.
Jeffrey Epstein collected kids, and I thought that was a great hobby too. But
Shut the fuck up. I actually just bought a pair of Adidas NMDs, so shut your bitch ass mouth.
I know, I talk too much, but still, I mean.
But who is this? Is this Terminator?
Yes, that's Arnold. Yeah.
Good old Arnold.
But yeah, so we we drove down to Los Angeles, downtown LA. We drove to the Grove. We saw a lot of protesters, and actually, like we were saying, we saw more people just observing, more rubberneckers, more people who are just looking for any form of entertainment.
Fucking, are you serious? Did you just see that? What just happened?
We're starved. We're starved. Entertain us. Please.
It was definitely where there's a lot of news, and that doesn't mean that it's not true. I think everyone's seen a lot of news recently about white supremacists being shipped in or trying to take advantage of peaceful protesting. When we were there tonight, yeah, Antifa or whatever it might be,
pissed off.
Yeah. And that doesn't mean there isn't those type of like third-party interference, but everything that we saw, it seemed like people were pissed off protesting. Yeah, there was some destruction and vandalism that was being taken place, but any of the people that did that, by the time anyone was around, the police were there to act upon it. They were gone. So it's hard to say who the suspect was in this case, and what the motive was. Beyond, is it the moral issue, or is it something more, sinister? I don't know.
Well, I mean, let's look at it this way. We have how many cities across the states that are actually, how many cities across the states are protesting and rioting right now? We have Omaha, we have Pittsburgh, we have Boston, we have Dallas, we have Los Angeles, New York. There's like the list goes on and on.
Fuck.
And then we have other countries like Australia, we have England, we have Germany protesting outside of the U.S. Embassy. I mean, it just goes on and on and on and on and on. People are fed up, and I don't know about you, but how big are these chapters for Antifa, and how big are these chapters for white supremacists? I don't think they're that big.
Yeah.
And then are you hearing this new news that the corporate media is saying that they're blaming Russia
I didn't hear that.
instead of, yeah, instead of blaming their corporate master overlords, they're gonna blame do the same old tired trick of blaming the Soviet Union, or what they're spinning as like the Soviet Union. Because let's be honest, Russia's like like a second world country. It's not a superpower. They're not big. They're not. This isn't happening, and it's all lies. It's all lies.
You just fucked that dude up. Yeah,
I know.
it's definitely an interesting time. Oh shit.
It's like an HR department. Again, it comes back to they're protecting their corporate overlords. They don't give a shit about anything else.
Nice.
They're lying. They're simply lying.
Dude, I'm sorry. I'm going like intense as fuck right now.
No, it's cool. Just win.
Yeah, so, yeah, what we saw out there wasn't what we exactly expected to be the outcome. And is that a good thing, a bad thing? It's hard to say. It depends on what perspective you want to look at that from.
You're so close. Just chop in. There you go.
I just die right there.
I know. There we
Dude,
go.
I have 3 lives. Jeez.
I know, it's like, if you didn't win this time.
Yeah, and then we had the conversation of where does this actually stick? Is this more of a catalyst? Is this the underlying problem? And that's hard to say. A lot of people have asked what my opinion is. Well, if you ask what my moral opinion is, I feel like that's a straightforward answer. But then but after that, it's not as black and white as I think people really want to make it out to be with some of the issues that have played out. Now, does that mean I'm not sympathizing with a lot of like the racism issues? Of course, that's probably one of the most problematic parts of it, and that's why it's in the forefront. But I feel like we're running into an issue, and we had this discussion in the car where people are so nice run. Oh, that's you. People are becoming so blinded by their perspective and what's being fed to them that they're not looking deeper than what's. And I don't want to say headline. I feel like that's doing people a disservice because there are people that are smart out there, but I feel like people should fear to always just have an answer immediately or to give an opinion on something. We're only human. We don't know everything, and to say that you can pick a side so quickly without doing research, and why is picking a side always such an important matter? Why can't we analyze and look for the deep-rooted issues, which seems to be something that's always been hard to obtain as humans, is how do we passively or aggressively change a perspective? And I feel like throughout history, has it ever been successfully done? I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can't forget that, again, the muddying of the waters, going back to the Russia thing. Why would someone blame, no, seriously, this is true. Like, why would we blame Russia or blame Antifa or blame white supremacy, which, come on, like it's bad, but like, how many are there really out there?
Right.
This is
I don't
so
know.
much
I don't think I've ever, unless it's something that they're gonna.
They're muddying the waters, is my point. They're doing it on purpose. They want it to sound like people are foolish. They want it to seem like people are just up in arms, or it's just some group, because they don't want it. They're hiding the deep systemic issues like you just outlined. They're hiding that, these politicians aren't really doing anything for these people.
Oh my God!
They're just paying lip service. So you're still in.
Nice.
I mean, it's muddying. They're trying to sow disinformation, so then they keep the power. I mean, it's kind of obvious after a while how ridiculous the narratives become.
Mm-hmm. Let's see what's playing. Let's see what's going on in the news right now while you're kicking some ass. It seemed like there was someone that died in Dallas. Did you see or I don't even know if this is the person that died. Or yeah, did he end up dying?
He looked like he was dead.
Yeah, did you see that video?
Oh my God.
That was one of the most intense things I've seen in a long time.
Folks, if you go and try to take on a mob with a sword, you're going to lose. Let's be honest. Don't do that. That's retarded. I'm not saying he deserved it, but let's be honest. Like,
Yeah.
you're not gonna win.
I love the little pitter patter of the feet.
Yeah, it's almost the best part.
Yeah.
But
If
yeah,
anyone
like
wants
go
to
back to your.
see more into what we did tonight, you can check out my Instagram at Bren Pancake. I have some live streams that both Zach and I took, and I uploaded 3 photos. I'm not sure if you had the chance to see them, Zach, or I can send them to you.
I
From
haven't yet. I'll see them on Twitter if you put them on Twitter. I will post. I'm gonna edit some together from what I've captured because I'm not as good of a cameraman as Brendan, so I have to do an edit to make it like palatable. But I will be posting that tomorrow
I
on
sent you a
Zachcom.
text with the photos that
Oh, nice.
I took. So that's just a few of them, but
Oh. But yeah, let's. But you're right. There's many truths. There's many. You never, because at the end of the day, like if we sit someone down from the protest, 9 times out of 10, they're gonna have the most retarded answer for why they're doing it, or they might not be able to articulate it well, but or they might just say, you know, anything under the sun. But that's just it comes back to everyone has their own truth, but I ultimately believe everything's a class issue. I think we have a huge problem systemically with
dude,
these bankers, with Wall Street, with how things are,
um, yeah,
how if you make a certain amount of money or if you have a certain amount of money, that means you don't get punished. You're not going to be held accountable.
yeah,
I mean, it's it, we've seen this over and over again. Like you just money equals power, and we have people like again. We're gonna take it back to Jeffrey Epstein, who gets a slap on the wrist, or he gets prison time for raping kids, and then he gets to when he's in prison, he gets to go home in the evening, or no, he gets to work during the day,
hmm
and then he sleeps in the prison at nights. Wouldn't that be nice if
yeah,
everyone who went to prison could just go off during the day,
would be
and do his job?
tremendous.
And what was Jeffrey Epstein's job? He wasn't a desk clerk. He wasn't, some civil servant. He was trafficking kids. So during the day, he got to go and traffic children, and during the night, he got to sleep in prison. I
hmm
mean, that's our judicial system. That's our justice department. That's our legal system. That's the corruption, and that's why people are in the streets. Meanwhile, we have a asshole police officer kneeling on the neck of a black man who wrote just a false check for what, like a pack of cigarettes, and then he has to die for it, and then we let pedophiles run free. I mean, it, enough is enough. What kind of system is this?
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting time to sit back. I mean, with how much free time we have right now, still because LA. I mean, just yesterday, our mayor Garcetti lifted a lot of our restrictions for COVID-19, which was
I
kind of
wonder why.
an unprecedented push, as you can see why, with everyone being home and having the opportunity to be able to riot or not doing any other sort of extracurricular activity, you could see why Garcetti pushed for people to be allowed to do stuff again to hopefully minimize these riots. And in some way, I actually think it did work and it was smart not to pick sides. I think it's one
No,
thing
it's good. Yeah,
to
I think that's
break
good.
stuff. A lot of the stuff that they're getting are these people that are opportunists who are looting, who aren't really part of the cause. We can't really bundle these people in to the issues that are at hand. Let's be honest. If someone's
But can we
going
split?
to, if
Can we split the looters up from the people starting fires? Because I agree with the people starting fires.
it just depends on what the fire is. How the hell did I die there?
I
Anyways,
don't know. But like,
uh,
yeah,
yeah. I
you
mean,
say
just
that,
to go back
but
to
like, you say that, but who cares about people stealing from Target
well, no,
when
that's what my point is going to be. It's like those people, we can't justify their actions, but they shouldn't even be part of the conversation because they're not the particular issue that needs to play out, you know. Um we need to consider those that are actually at the front talking about the issues. And I completely forget where I was going now, but it's okay. You can just take over.
Sorry, I'm really passionate tonight.
It's all good.
Yeah, I mean, no, it does come back to like, look, the people who are making this argument that like, hey, why are they looting Target? Why are they looting? Hey, they're setting fire to AutoZone. I like AutoZone, but the thing is, like, again, look at the stimulus package. Look at the people who really need money. $1,200 and maybe unemployment, and a lot of that unemployment's not even happening. And then
Yeah.
you have these fucking corrupt politicians giving out millions of dollars. Coronavirus made Jeff Bezos a trillionaire. You know, Bill Gates gained millions of dollars. All these billionaires just became wealthier when they didn't need the money.
Right.
Why did we have to give money to these people who don't need it? And then not just money, but ungodly seems of like so much fucking money. Like, sorry, but I mean that it's like look over here, but not
Yeah.
over here. Not like come on, like it's all a distraction. They're the real criminals are the ones who walked away with just all this money, and I don't know. If you're someone who's actually like thinking you're gonna go and
Come get me.
protect
Save me.
your local Target, I mean, and you don't see the real issues at hand, then like you're the problem too.
It's just let's talk about Nietzsche for a second. This is just kind of how I feel. We have people that are right. We have people, not everyone's completely right and not everyone's completely wrong in some of the issues that are playing out today. And there's a really good quote that Nietzsche has that I think sums up what my pillar of thought is when it comes to these problems. And this is the quote: "You have your way, I have my way. As for the right way, the correct way, and the only way, it does not exist." And I feel like a lot of times we get hung up in these issues about something not being 100% for everybody and in terms of equality. And while in an idealistic world that would all be amazing, I think we need to realize what is important, fight for those things, and then hopefully stuff will then develop from there. It's just unreal, I think, sometimes the position in which people come at this to hope that they're going to get the return versus kind of like taking us one step at a time. And this is more of a general statement towards everybody, thinking that you need to always have an opinion or you always need to be at the forefront. And I think it's okay to take your time to learn the situation and do these things. It doesn't mean that you're coming at this inappropriately. And I just think there's a lot of people that are going directly for trying to fight or be combative with someone and then being blinded by your perspective, and at the end of the day then we're just kind of negating conversation altogether. So
Yeah, wouldn't it be brilliant if we can all just come together and actually point all this rage towards the politicians, the judges, the lobbyists, the attorneys, the people, the real corporate, like the bankers, the Wall Street. If we can just turn all this rage towards the people who really deserve it, if we can all come together and actually
wow,
gain a little more perspective
you're back.
and understand
Oh
that,
nice, with the best character ever.
I know, right? But if we all came together, we could actually come out of this and actually all be better for it because they're not your friends. If we could unite, it, or that could happen. I mean, we're all not that much different. They want us to think we're different. It's a class thing. I look at all of this as a class issue. People are impoverished because the minimum wage is bullshit. People should be able to earn a living wage without working 3 jobs and being tired all the time and not being around their kids and you know it's just absolutely ridiculous. This
Right.
idea that you
Oh nice,
can't go
Predator.
and work at a grocery store and you still have to work or you have to be on food stamps. That's
Yeah.
ridiculous. You should be able to work at a grocery store and be able to, you know, pay for rent or buy a house or buy a car, and in educate the education system, the fact that it's it costs people are coming out of school owing hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt.
Yeah.
I mean, this is all a broken system. We live in a
Fuck.
failed state. This is a failed
Fuck.
state.
I don't. What is up
And
with
this
that dude
civil
right
war
there?
is a
The
long
dude
time
with
coming.
the, you see, he's just like burning. Do you see that on the steps, or the ladder?
Um,
Maybe
he's a
it's a
flame.
glitch on my. What the fuck just happened?
Shit. I guess that happened.
Yeah, it was
This,
definitely intense out there, right? I feel like,
people are pissed.
yeah, it was definitely more intense than I thought it was going to be. But even with that said, uh, I want to see where this is going to go. Is it going to go beyond this? Is it going to peter out? I was hearing someone that studies riots and human interaction and events and stuff like that. And I guess after the longest a riot typically goes is about 3 to 4 days, and then it finally burns out because you can see there's not much more that they can do. Uh, so I'm
But I think this
curious.
is so widespread. I don't think this
Yeah,
is a
just how
particular riot.
nationwide
This
it
is
is. Do you think it's going to end
even
up
around the
lasting
country.
longer? Yeah.
Yeah, I think since it's countrywide,
I
and
would
I
say
think
that
I've
this
seen
is the most
going.
significant riot that and there's been quite a few riots even since we've moved here, just over other
Mm,
like forms of injustice, stuff that's happened. I mean, when Trump became president, there was a pretty big deal about that. But I feel like this is easily the most significant in terms of just anticipation. One, it just felt like it was right around the corner. And did I think that this death was going to be the catalyst? No, not necessarily. I thought there could have been a lot of other third party ways that would have been the catalyst, say, people being unable to pay for their apartments or something, getting evicted, food shortages, which people have notably been seeing recently at grocery stores. There's a lot of things that I know people would argue that have been mismanaged during this whole coronavirus thing. So, but to have this happen, it compounds a lot of other factors that are definitely at play right now in the United States. And I'm just curious if these factors will end up picking up and snowballing for this to be something more than just a riot, or if this will be another lesson in life, or, just a blip in history. Who knows?
yeah, I think you said a lot there that makes sense. Let's I mean seriously, let's look at it like this. I mean, people aren't stupid.
It's all good, guys. I'm Robocop.
They, they they know they're being taken advantage of. People aren't, people know the bankers shouldn't be making the
Nice,
money
dude.
they're making. People know that they shouldn't be able to
If you go to the...
game the
Hey, Siri,
system.
shut up.
What?
Siri just started talking for some reason. That son of a bitch.
Siri, you slut. I told you to never talk
Siri, I
like
just want to
this.
give Siri a shout out, and I know a lot of people have issues, and I feel like you definitely have some issues with Apple, and I'm very much a
I hate
technology
Tim
guy.
Cook.
Is a lot of my friends know me. I love a good piece of tech, and if there's one piece of technology that I genuinely love, and have found myself enjoying its day in and day out presence, yo,
Shut
how dare they cap Dirty Harry like that? Anyways, is my Apple HomePod. It's a very controversial piece of equipment. A lot of people actually think it's a pretty shitty smart speaker, but I would disagree in terms of speaker quality and what it has to offer. It's a very, very, very comprehensive piece of equipment, and it's just nice to have around. That's all I have to say. Have I fallen to the gimmick that is Apple? Maybe. But
So
I
you know
stand by
Tim.
my I stand by
What
my HomePod. What's up?
do you think about Tim Cook?
Now, how do you want me to answer that question? From like a moral perspective, or from a perspective of just thinking he's a pretty smart guy?
Well, I just feel like he's, I guess, moral because I think
I would
he's
say
not
from a moral perspective,
pure.
he's way more, and you might disagree with me. And I think Steve Jobs has his place in
Oh my
being
God, well, that's not
remembered just
hard.
for like being being very intelligent and pushing stuff forward. But I think Tim Cook, in the grand scheme of what Apple is and Apple has become, is actually it's somewhat beneficial because one, I think he's a better person, and you might disagree with that from
Yes.
whatever
Okay.
your perspective is
I'm
going to
I'm
be.
about I'm about to tell you something. So yeah.
Now,
He believes
go
here. I'll
for it.
just tell.
Just go for it.
Tim Cook doesn't want people to have a high enough minimum wage because and he also doesn't want people
Nice.
to be helped out with money or be given money because he wants people to be able to rely on big business for work. He doesn't want people to be better off or um, to do well because it's good for big business for people to like rely on small wage, small income jobs, and it's immoral, and he's immoral, and he's bad for America, just like all these other CEOs. He's bad for
What about
America.
Elon Musk?
Elon's a tool, but he's no. I mean, you know what you get with Tim Cook. It's almost like the Republican Democrat thing, where like Democrats are like wolves in sheep's clothing, and Republicans are just wolves. Because like when you look at like Nancy Pelosi, she's not any better than Trump in a lot of ways. She just gives you a bunch of lip service. I mean, would you rather have someone like Trump who's in your face, or some clown like um, Pelosi who's just basically trying to tell you what you want to hear, but she can't relate to you in any like at all. She's always been wealthy. She doesn't know how to serve you. In fact she doesn't want to. It's not her job. Her job's to,
How did I die? It must have
I
been
don't
one of
know.
those doors.
But I mean,
Doors.
I
Yeah.
I don't think there's a winning. And also, I never signed up for. Fuck. I never signed up for this whole thing where it's like, hey, we're gonna give you two shitty options for president. We're gonna give you two. Like, what is this? Where we never.
Yeah.
They're not even shooting projectiles at us anymore. 'Cause they're like, just
Yeah,
um,
we failed this mission so many times on hard, everybody that's watching, that it's kind of funny. Nice. Our just got where were we at though? Just for everybody that's tuning in, we are located in LA. My name is Bren Pancake. I am a filmmaker and video gamer. I have my buddy on, Zach Calm. We were witnessing what became started as the protests down in LA and what became the riots down in LA. We were there to witness what was playing out, just to see how it was affecting our communities, to be aware of what the truth was. And Zach and I were just talking about where this is going to end up going, how we see it playing out. Is this a long-term thing, a short-term thing? And yeah, nice. There I am, dead.
we need to get some good characters. I think that's
Yeah,
what it is.
and this is difficult. Speed Demon 232933.
Oh shit. See, we gotta wait. I think there's a pattern. We have to wait in the beginning at the truck, let it do that thing, and then go down here, I
Yeah,
guess. I don't know.
we're also just not paying attention as much. This is
You're
the
right.
Pancake Mix, which this is more of a discussion-based episode. We do these about twice a week. Uh, and this is our second episode, actually. If you want to come back, you should definitely give me a follow if you like this content. We talk about intellectual topics, current events, and what to expect coming up, different stuff, and hobbies that we like. So, just a little community that we're trying to grow. Oh, nice. We play different
Interesting.
games. We play Battlefield 5, Crash Team Racing, Call of Duty. Big games, small games. We change it up.
Yeah, and I think this is way more about current events. This is about
Yeah,
politics. This is about
yeah,
conspiracy
nice.
theories. Even though it's like illegal to say conspiracy theory anymore. But
Right.
again, I've said it before. I'll say it again. Conspiracy theory was a term invented after the Kennedy assassination to make people sound like fools that like want to question, you know, the status quo or the opinion that has been drilled into our heads that's not really ours. That you know, some man acted on his own. Like again,
Keep pushing.
if we go to the Netflix documentary about Jeffrey Epstein that just came out, of course, you hear that Jeffrey Epstein was a Gatsby. He was like a one in a million type of person who just came along and just fooled everybody. Lex Wexner, Lex Wexner never knew about Jeffrey. He was had just like those girls that they were both raping. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
you can't make this shit up. And Netflix is like not much better than anyone like CNN or any of these other things because they're all bought and owned, and you're not gonna get when you get a documentary like from Netflix, you're not getting the full story. And we covered how Netflix has covered the Ted Kaczynski story, and they never covered MK Ultra. I mean, they don't cover the full scope of stories. And in fact, the people who invest in these documentaries don't want you to talk about the full scope, because even like with the documentary that Brendan and I are
Oh,
working
nice.
on,
How did I die?
we're not even allowed to cover the whole child rape stuff. We can only cover the women, even
And
though
let's talk about
we
some
know that
reasons why.
we,
There's
we, we know that kids are being there's ritual abuse among kids in these communities, and that these kids are being molested and raped, and maybe even worse, all for these so-called religious means. I mean, and it's like no one wants to call out the Mormons because hey, Disney won't, because the Mormons are so good for the Disney audience.
Let's talk about an interesting fact about Mormons and just kind of the more business than religion type of operation that they run in the state of Florida. You might know the percentage off the top of off the top of your head, but they're the second. And think of what's in Florida. We have Disney, we have Universal, we have a lot of other major properties down there, and Disney is a massive property. Disney World, and Mormons are what, the second largest owner of property in Florida. And this will loop back into something we'll probably eventually talk about, but some stuff with like money and all of this. It's just insane, something that's supposedly a religion. Why do they own that much land? And I know they've had talks of potentially opening up some other stuff down there.
They're the most American religion because it's all about capitalism. They so it's again muddying up the waters. They distort what Christianity is. And I'm not a Christian. I'm not religious. But I know I'm curious about theology.
Oh my
Theology is very
God.
interesting. Theology is very interesting to me. Oh, fuck. But I find it like just they call themselves Christians, but like they flaunt capitalism. Like it is the perfect um, microcosm for the what America
Oh my
is
God.
the Mormon faith. It's hilarious
Yeah.
because they're like so greedy, and I mean not amongst themselves, but then like they fool people. They it's all about money. It's all about paying tithing. They could give a shit about people. You know, it's they go to these third world countries and they take people's last cent to and so rather than feeding their children, they're paying the Mormon church. I mean, it's like a Ponzi scheme, and in the mythology is laughably retarded. Like even if you're someone like it's bad enough if you grow up as a Mormon, but if you like are able to be
Hmm.
fooled into that religion, like it's kind of like childish. It's ridiculous. Like I
Yeah.
don't know. It, it it's like there was a boy who wandered into the woods, and the whole myth of like Joseph Smith as a boy praying and then being visited by it. I mean, Matt and Trey in South Park did a really good job of like not even parodying it. They actually just showed it for what it was, and it's really the real history about Joseph Smith is he was someone who was a gold digger. Like he was someone who would go and look for gold, and he was he was known to lie and make up shit, and like he was someone who was always trying to come up with these get rich quick schemes. He was
Yeah.
essentially an Alex Jones before Alex Jones,
Right.
you know.
Were
So
you
that's
there when we went inside the what's his name's house? Brigham Young's place? Dude, that
no,
place was wild.
that was just you and Elena. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so I can't remember the exact details, but Brigham Young, you can why don't you tell them who Brigham Young is just to give them
So
a better
So
understanding?
if you thought Joseph Smith was bad, Brigham Young, and this is the
Hmm.
best way to put it, is like the perfect analogy is if you know anything about Scientology or if you ever seen the Scientology documentary, you have L. Ron Hubbard, who's essentially, and you always have your crazy idealistic leader, a cult leader like Joseph
Yeah,
Smith or L.
let's
Ron
run.
Hubbard, and then um, Brigham Young is like the David McCavich guy who runs it now. That was Brigham Young, who basically he was a con man, but he was smart enough to get Mormonism off the ground, so to speak. Like he was able to get people to Utah.
Fuck.
It was like when the Mormons were originally like in Illinois, and then they had to go to Utah because they weren't allowed to like rape multiple women and brainwash multiple women into marriage like as easily when they were close to
Yeah,
because America was so much more condensed back then, so they were
right.
able to go to the frontier and
Go
that
up to the
allowed them.
flag and revive me.
Well, let me take care of this guy first.
Yeah.
um
But yeah. And so Brigham Young, when Zach and I were in Salt Lake last year, I went into Brigham Young's house, and essentially where a lot of the work and organization of the Mormon faith, and what was it called during that period? Wasn't it, the pioneer movement, right? They were pioneers.
yeah, whatever, the pioneers, yeah.
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 So, but what was interesting about the place, this is when he was a polygamist, and how many wives did he have? I can't remember the exact number off the top of my head. I know it was something absurd, like
um
37 or something like that.
We need our Mormon correspondent for the
Yeah.
details of
Yeah.
wives because they all have so many. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Nice. There's no way I was ever going to get that guy with the worst character. That character is honestly worse than Indiana Jones's character because at least you get the pistol.
Yeah, yeah, fuck. That's true. That one, yeah, the one dude with the overcoat and the sword, I think it's Highlander. He's
Yeah.
like awful. I hate that character.
Yeah. But back to Brigham Young's house. It's a finely crafted place. It's right in the middle of downtown, and if you've never been to Salt Lake, it's a nice city. But once you stay there long enough and you start to look around, especially in the downtown area, you kind of get this feeling of it being, what's the word that you would use, Zach?
Creepy.
It's, yeah, it's creepy. And there's a creepy
It's
group
also
of
like the
people that frequent the Utah area. And don't get me wrong, there's nice people. There's nice people everywhere, and that's definitely in a generalization. The Mormons are extremely nice people. It's just there's some flaws in their ideology that we'll probably get into in a little bit. But
they're like children.
yeah,
And then there's people who are, but they're also because their ideology was created by a con man. They have this. They're children at face value, but underneath they're very. There's something. I'm not kidding. Like at least the ones who are like pioneer ancestry, they
yeah.
know how to game the system, and they use that childish smile. Like they use that. They feign ignorance, but they're really
And
really
we were
conniving.
there during Pioneer Days, which is which is a very interesting thing to observe. It's because everyone that's Mormon that goes to these like festivities that are essentially taking place. I don't know what the duration of that is, but
They're
and
not all bad. I mean,
no,
I
no,
like
they're
I said,
not bad, but it's just
it's like what
no,
Trump once said. It's what Trump once said.
no.
You know, most of them are rapists and murderers, and a few of them are good, I imagine. Or was that Mexican? What did he? What was he?
I
Who
think
was he
that was
talking about?
Mexican, dude.
Oh, well, you same
Anyways,
thing. Same
back
thing. They
to
might be Mexican. Romney's Mexican.
Is he? He is Mexican. He's from one of the like, what's it called? Utah
His father, yeah, his father
Mexicans.
wanted to have his father or his great grandfather wanted to have like 20 wives, and people in America are like, hey, that's kind of fucked up. And he's like, well, I'll just
Yeah.
go to Mexico. And like,
What are you doing?
okay. I'm trying to figure out how to do this.
Yeah, we keep getting smacked here. Have we beaten this level yet? Yeah, we beat.
Yeah, let's just beat it.
Yeah.
God damn. I gotta just gotta get. I'm glad that that did nothing.
I
Guess this
mean, it
bug.
looks like it did something. It's like it looks like it's a stun. Yeah. So now he's just shooting randomly at shit. Just watch
Okay.
out. Okay. Nice. All right, let's get this win here. Here, I'm gonna use my special on this guy.
Let's just not even. Oh yeah. Let's just say let's just go underneath. And if we
Wow,
have
that
any
did
Mormon
nothing.
listeners, I apologize. You're not all subhuman, but you know you have to admit you guys have a dumb religion. Like, come on.
And that is Zachary Calm, everyone.
Yeah, you know, this isn't coming from Brendan, so direct your hate mail to me. I don't care. I honestly have no sympathy for any of you.
Have you talked to your friends at Mormon Leaks recently? I think this is a good conversation for, I feel like this is a nice little side story here.
What's funnier than a Mormon is an ex-Mormon. That is true.
Zach and I, we went to an ex-Mormon convention. Nice. Dead. We went to an ex-Mormon convention. What was it called?
Again. You're
Oh,
alive.
nice.
You have a good character.
What was that? What was Sunstone? Sunstone?
Yeah, it was really sad. There was barely anyone there.
Yeah.
I felt bad.
Definitely nice. Definitely some interesting vibes there. Definitely some interesting vibes.
Yeah, just to say the least. And again, I'm only mean to them because they have a huge problem that they're not solving. And there's a huge widespread issue in Utah of sexual assault and rape that is perpetuated by the Mormon religion. And people want to say that they're doing a lot to help, and they're really not, because at the end of the day, these people who are perpetuating it are the Mormon leaders, and if you're not going to hold your leaders accountable, then you're part of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And that this is happening at BYU still, and they want to say like their honor program, their honor code.
Well,
They
let's
wanna say
talk
their
about
honor
the foundation of them. Their what is it called for sex ed? Their abstinence only state. So, which okay, in an idealistic world, sure that would work, but we're human beings. We're not these pure creatures that can just get away without having like hormones and all of this stuff, especially when you're young and being curious. So when at a young age they teach their youth that essentially if you have sex before marriage, that's a sin. That is, what is the thing, the like tenet that they say, Zach?
Well,
You're-
they have this thing called the miracle of forgiveness, where they're
Mhm.
so they call their Mormon leaders. They refer to them as prophets, and they think that they're like walking, living day. Like they have they're up 12 apostles, and these are all just a bunch of like men who are just literally gaming the system.
Yeah.
Like the prophets, like the wealth. He's like the leader of a country, and the wealth of the church is essentially his.
Yeah.
And everything that you thought was wrong with the Catholic Church is like that, and then more with the leadership. But I'm sorry, I'm getting off topic. So the sex.
Dude, yeah, we've talked about so much different stuff.
I know. I don't even know how we got into this. We're talking about Black
We were
Lives
talking.
Matter.
I never even got into what we even saw at Brigham Young's place.
I know we get
Guys,
so off
this
topic.
is how
Sorry.
we know we're not just bullshitting. Okay.
Yeah, because we don't even know what we're saying.
We're beyond bullshit at this point.
We're still better than those TrueAnon people because they're so fucking annoying. But I want to say,
Everyone, Bren Pancake, this whole platform, the cult that we're trying to build here, it's all about just having fun. You know, at the end of the day, there is a lot of issues. We're gonna look at this philosophically. We're gonna ask questions, but that doesn't mean we have remedies. Everything is not as black and white as everyone wants to make it out to be. And I feel like I'm being a broken record right now, and I've said this multiple times over, but I feel like this is something that people need to realize in 2020 with everything going on. It's just, we can't push everything into a group of hate and retaliation and expect to get positive results. As much as it infuriates us, we can't let our pride and ego defeat the purpose of good. And unfortunately, if that overtakes us and anger overtakes us, I feel like Yeah, we're just not going to come out on top of it, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, well said. And I think, fuck. Here, let me get you there. Shit. Fuck. Okay, you're
Oh, nice,
alive,
I'm
dude.
back. This
Get
guy
that
looks
thing.
like Michael Jackson when I play as him, but I know it's Leon the Professional.
Yeah.
But he looks
I
like Michael Jackson. I don't know why.
Yeah, we don't have the answers. Join our cult. We want to have you. We want to have intellectual conversations and stupid ones. They're going to be really dumb, actually. But I mean, the thing is, we're trying to hit at real things, but we're doing it while we're playing video games, so it's never going
Yeah,
to come out right.
yeah,
So,
absolutely. It's not meant to come out right. It's meant to be.
it's a conversation between friends talking about trying to have a conversation.
Oh shit.
Um, yeah, but again, there's a lot of issues in the world. We're not gonna solve them all. We're gonna try to take one at a time. And I think fuck, with this whole what we were trying to get about with the Mormon thing, and then we went into this whole rabbit hole, which is really an episode in and of itself, is
Hmm.
really um, this idea that you're not going to get the truth from these like corporate institutions. There's going to be a spin, but I can refer to you to where to go. And I
Hmm.
think it's good to know that because it's good to know where you can get unbiased information. I mean, Glenn Greenwald, if you follow him on Twitter, you're going to get a lot of good information that's not it's unbiased. It's not
Fuck. Why would
run
I
through
do
the
that?
filter. It's not run through the filter of some HR department or like CNN. Like, Matt Taibbi, he's a good person to follow. He used to be a journalist for Rolling Stone. He's off on his own now. I talked about
Yeah,
The
he was
Hill.
good on the Joe Rogan podcast that he did not too
Hmm.
long ago. He was
Hmm.
definitely one of the
Yeah.
better parts of it.
Oh,
One
for
of the
sure.
better, more recent podcasts. You know, and I
Yeah.
think we were talking about this today. I feel like we're finally. I don't want to say that Joe Rogan's podcast is getting uh, worse because I don't think that's the case at all. But we're seeing what is the byproduct of him becoming so famous, and I feel like you could speak to this even more so than I can. But within the time that I've been watching Joe Rogan, where a lot of his guests and a lot of his conversations would have a not as expected results. I feel like a lot of his stuff is somewhat becoming repetition, and we're almost seeing Joe Rogan starting to question his own mortality. You know, he's definitely with his health and everything that's happening in terms of the coronavirus. And at this point, you could even say that he doesn't really care about it. And he wants things to open up. But at the same time, you know how health oriented he is, which is great. But I feel like at some point, with the where he's becoming as a person, he's going to a place that's a little bit unprecedented, you know, for himself.
Yeah, I think I have a lot of tolerance for Rogan because
Yeah,
I was actually, and I hate to say this because it always sounds so douchey, but I was one of their
yeah.
original
Just say it,
listeners.
dude. Just say
I
it.
was one- I was one of the original listeners when it was just he and Red Band, like when they were first starting out in his basement. Like I was a fan of Rogan's because I
You're
was kind
back
of a
in.
fan of like the whole psychedelic movement. Fucking and like the whole DMT thing, and I knew that like we were being lied to, and like look at now marijuana is legal. Like it's just it does there's so again I'm gonna try and stay on topic, but like with Rogan, I think he's someone who has to really toe the line a lot more, and he has to
Yeah.
watch because he's become so mainstream, and I think that's
Oh fuck.
great because he actually does care. Unlike he's not bought and sold by no matter what some of these other people might say, he's not bought and
Hmm.
sold. He's someone who's actually trying to do. We actually got to the halfway point. Nice. Um, he's trying to get to the bottom of it, and the thing is, he's not going to have all the answers, and we
Woo.
can't expect to go to him for that. But he does bring a lot of other voices for us
Yeah.
to
Analyze,
really
discuss.
appreciate. And I think,
Oh
but I think
shit.
for someone, if you're looking for a comedian who really um, gets it and like who really is good at like articulating himself even better than Rogan, I think you have to look the best up and coming comedian who can do that is Tim Dillon. I think he really gets it.
Fuck.
From Long Island. He's a kind of a queen. I mean, he has everything working for him. Like he's the perfect. Um, he's like the perfect voice.
Do you just say he's kind of a queen?
Yeah, but in a good way.
Yeah, okay.
You know.
I was just making sure I heard that. Like,
Yeah, but like,
nice.
because you know, he's from Long Island. They're all kind of queens. Let's be honest. But I think
Shout out
I
to
think
Stevie Naps, who's actually
he,
from Staten Island, not Long Island.
he's our queen. Um, but yeah, no, he's just people from Long Island. They have like they have good personalities. They're very funny people. They're like
Dude, this game.
I don't know what happened.
I don't know how we're supposed to beat this guy.
I don't know. I'm gonna find out. But yeah, I think again he's way more articulate. He's he's funnier. Like he's honestly like I think like he's gonna be like the next Dan or no, I mean excuse me. I don't know why I thought of the Carlin thing. Fuck. He's gonna be the next George Carlin. I feel like.
Hmm.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, I
Like,
can feel
I
you.
think he knows how to make fun of the system in a way that's palatable instead of like me where I just
Oh,
get
wow.
angry. Like he's
Area
so
liberated.
facetious and he just he knows how to like really articulate it all much better. And he actually, if you join his Patreon, he has multiple tiers that you can follow. You know, he has a bonus episode every other week or whatever, and then he also has this thing called the Rothschilds tier, which is $20 a month, but it's worth every penny, where you get a full list of all the Rothschild episodes where they break down all the different conspiracies with
Hmm.
actual experts, not just a bunch of morons like us, because we're idiots, but like he
Yeah,
actually talks to
guys,
authors.
we just
Like he
we just
talks to
discussed this
authors.
stuff, you know.
Yeah, and he talks to authors like
Oh,
um
nice. Oh, we got some
fucking
amigos. Come here.
yeah, I know. Yeah, let's do this. Oh, we do? Okay.
Yeah. Nice, they're dead.
They're already dead.
It's alright.
Russ Baker for one, he wrote about the Bushes. He wrote about a few other conspiracies. And then there's the author of the Franklin scandal. Um what's his name?
Uh,
Fuck, what's his name? I'm gonna look this up because I actually want to.
yeah, it's fine. Take a moment here.
So, um,
Everyone, just make sure to follow me on Bren Pancake on IG, on Twitter. Check me out on Facebook. I also have a Vimeo and YouTube channel. Definitely check out the links that are attached to this Twitter. Yeah, feel free to follow all of that if you want to watch more content. We do this weekly. We do short stacks, pancake mix. Zach will always be back. He's a reoccurring guest on a lot of episodes.
unless you
Yeah.
all downvote me enough, and then I won't be back.
Yeah,
But that's
we
okay.
do.
We're
That
fine.
is a process that we will do annually. We will vote people off of the roster.
It's
More
like
info
voting
on
off
that
the
soon.
island.
More info on
Yeah,
that soon. Yeah,
but
we're gonna have
Nick
some amazing
Nick
guests too.
Bryant
Yeah, we're gonna
Nick
have some.
Bryant is the author of the Franklin scandal, and he's like a real
Gotcha,
journalist. Nick Bryant,
Bryant.
Bryant, and if you search him on Twitter, you won't find the Nick Bryant I'm referring to. You'll find some goofy BBC correspondent that no one gives a fuck about. I'm talking about the American Nick Bryant, who actually, so you know, he's a kind of he's hard to follow. I don't even think he's on Twitter to be honest, because he's a
Yeah,
real journalist. But yeah,
I wonder
sorry,
if
go
they're
ahead.
still out and about doing anything in downtown. I'm gonna see if I can find some news on it while you game here. Demonstrators, police clash across nation in another night of protest.
Keep it coming, baby.
People
I'm
are
all for this
accidentally
protest.
throwing out their stimulus payments. How?
What? Okay, well, how about they send some more stimulus payments out? It's like all this, whatever. It's like they don't
Did you
even.
see the whole? I think we might have been talking about this. I
We're
spoke to
shut down for months
Santiago,
and
which
then
he's going to be coming
anyway.
up on another episode soon. But did you see in Salt Lake City just talking about that a man was using a hunting bow on protesters and got swarmed?
Good. I hope he's dead. I didn't say that, but I kind of did. Um, I believe it because people from Salt Lake are in. Not everyone. I take that back. People around Salt Lake are crazy. Like people from Provo are absolutely retarded.
If ever you can find more information about this for everybody watching, if you go on Twitter and look up the civilian brought a hunting bow to the, you can just use the hashtag SLC protest. That will take you to what hopefully, well, not hopefully, what should be the videos of this guy using a hunting bow right now, and I'm currently watching it.
And did you know that the people who are here, I'll let you. Are you able to play that right now?
Yeah, I'm
Can
playing
people
it
see
right
that?
now.
Can
No,
people
people
see it?
can't see it. We'll just have to go. Oh shit, dude, he definitely shot someone. Or maybe they swarmed him, I couldn't tell. Dang.
I mean, that
And what's
guy.
interesting about Salt Lake City, though, and this is really any urban area, is or like developed area that it typically leans more liberal, and you could definitely see that in parts of Salt Lake City,
Thank
for as
God, because the rest
conservative,
of the state
yeah,
is
conservative as it
crazy.
is, right? There's amazing food in Salt Lake. There's a lot of great stuff about Utah. Unfortunately, just some of the policies and the people that inhabit the state and the
Are
issues that
Mormon.
kind of plague it dilute it. So
Yeah, if there weren't Mormons, Salt Lake would actually, or Utah would be great.
yeah,
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. You know what's worse than what's there's nothing worse than like Mormon comedy.
I don't think I know what that is.
You don't want to know what Mormon comedy is. Unless maybe you do. I don't know. Look at this guy. Yeah. I'm gonna lay off on the Mormons a little bit. I feel bad now. But
Yeah, I think
it's again it's
oh
kind of
look,
what.
these we got our homies back. All right,
Okay.
homies, go
Maybe
fuck
maybe
some.
maybe they'll listen to us.
Oh my god, dude, RoboCop sucks.
He's slow.
Yeah,
See, I don't know why they don't have friendly fire.
yeah.
Martini time.
What's that about?
What is
All
that
right, so
about?
let's talk about some Evangelion Neon Genesis. I feel like we finally approached the time where we need to talk about one of our favorite animated anime series and why it is an important piece of content, especially with everything that's happening right now in the worlds. So, if you've never seen it, you can watch it if you're in the United States on Netflix. Again, it is Evangelion. It is Neon Genesis Evangelion, an amazing series that deals with a future that is yet to happen. Essentially, what World War III is happening. That's what it's kind of staged as in a way, but it's more or less the Book of Genesis retold in this mecha type story.
Brendan is
Um,
essentially Sinji. Brendan
I
is
am
the most
Shinji.
Sinji person I've ever met, and it's a compliment. It
I
really
dude, I
is.
don't take offense to that at all. I
Oh,
don't
okay.
take offense to that at all, mate.
Some people might, but
I'm
yeah.
gonna pull up, like we discussed in the car today, some stills and some quotes uh, from Evangelion and why they have weight for today. And here is one, Zach, that I feel like you can speak to very well. This is coming from Kaji. If you remember Kaji, Kaji is
Hmm.
Masato's love interest. I think
Hmm.
that's his name,
Very
Kaji.
cool. He's a very cool guy.
I believe this is coming from him, and the line is, "There are as many truths as there are people." which is a topic that I kind of bring up a lot, is that we all have different opinions and we're not going to be able to live in this idealistic world, this utopia that so many people want us to see us in. I actually think a utopia is scarier than a dystopia for so many a dystopian society, and obviously there's various degrees of that, and that's very much a generalization. But where am I? Oh
I
shit.
press start. I don't know if you.
Oh.
Yeah.
But where was I going with that?
Well, I think we're gonna comment on it and how it relates to today.
Yeah.
And again, all our Ava fans out there, this is really for you.
Right.
We love Ava. I mean, it really captures
Right.
something so hopeless as the American dream or whatever
Right.
that doesn't really exist.
Well, there are as many truths as there are people. That's very Nietzsche. If we look back to the quote that we talked about earlier, that he said that I have my beliefs, you have your beliefs. My beliefs aren't correct, yours aren't correct, like 100% incorrect, essentially. And that's very much what they're talking about in Ava. And that's very much a concern for, I feel like, some people today.
Yeah, I think we all have our truths because we all are constructed and built through our own experiences.
Dude, don't forget our essays.
Oh yeah. So, we each have had our own hardships. We've each had our own. And
Right.
at the end of the day, like I want to really raise up people. I don't want to like bring people down, except unless they're Mormon.
Rise up.
So anyone
Take
who
this life, dude.
is-
You need this life.
anyone who's anyone who's feeling down or depressed or anything,
Nice.
we're with you. I'm glad I'm Indeed now. We're with you, and we want you to know that you have a friend in Bren Pancake and Zach Holm and the whole short stack and the big stack and all that. So we want you to come here, and we want you to know
Join
that
our
we can all
cult.
join our call. We can be virtual friends.
You guys are more than welcome to shoot me DMs. I'm always a big fan of talking to new people, just being friends, debating, talking philosophy.
Now let's talk about Shinji
just being a pancake,
being a pancake.
I am very
And
much a pancake.
And the thing is, life is hopeless in so many ways. But if we can all come together, we can make it a little less hopeless, just like in Ava. And that's what
It is
Ava
hopeless.
did teach us, because
Evangelion's
sometimes
very
something
hopeless.
sometimes something really big and something horrible has to happen.
Who's
for
your favorite
something-
character in Evangelion? I would say Masato is my cartoon crush, my anime crush. I love Masato Katsuragi. She's a beautiful woman. But is she my favorite character? That's hard to say. I feel like Rei, in terms of just character depth and emotional arc that plays out through the series, is probably my favorite character. And the relationship that you think that's going to end up happening between Rei and Shinji, if you read the manga, which I highly recommend anybody that watches the show, they want to know the universe more, definitely watch the new movies that have been coming out over the last 2 decades that the director's trying to pull off. But if you even want a more comprehensive timeline of the original series, that to me I consider to be canon. I don't know if it is officially considered to be canon. I want to say it is. The manga for Neon Genesis Evangelion is one of the best written pieces that I've ever seen, or that I've ever read. From the artistry to create the manga itself, and that's definitely not the highlight of the manga. I wouldn't say the illustration is the best I've ever seen, but it's good, it's strong. But the story,
What's the best you've seen?
I would say Berserk. Out of everything that I've read
Come
so
on.
far, Berserk has just,
Shit, we're at the end.
oh my god, oh shit! I
don't
thought
know
you had to
that.
kill him.
I guess not.
Dang. I would say that Berserk, in terms of illustration, it has so much to do also with the setting. These are medieval times. We're watching people fighting with guns, living in filth. You know, there's such a big disparity between the wealth and the poor during these times. Uh, so the backdrop of it I find to be very interesting and just aesthetically appealing. Um, but yeah, who's your favorite character?
I mean, it's so hard because the thing, okay, so I want to take a step back and just, again, talk about all the characters because what Ava does so well is its character development to the point where you can at least empathize with where each of the characters comes from, even with some of the characters who are kind of harder to either relate to or harder to empathize with, like for instance, goddamn, I forget her name, the red one,
Oh, Asuka Langley
Asuka.
Soryu,
Yeah. So I
the
think
German
like
girl, the
yeah,
German
like
pilot.
so when it comes to like development and character development and understanding the pathos of how a character comes into being and through their own experiences, the development of Asuka I think is very well done, and I think for the sake of just character development and with where all that anger comes from, I think you know she's 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 hard not to choose as my favorite character in that way.
Yeah, Asuka, her storyline, which is somewhat similar to Shinji's, but in terms of neglect, not love. And Shinji has neglect too, but more from the father figure, not the mother figure. You know, Asuka's storyline is just so interesting because she's this character that's trying to essentially overcome herself the whole time, where Shinji has more tangible things at play, like his father, and then Rei just has the whole complex of not really being anything. Not really supposed to have emotion. Dude, this game's definitely glitching out.
Hmm. Yeah, I think Shinji, like he's a pleaser and he always feels like he has to please because he never had his father's he never gained his father's respect
Yeah,
or he and I honestly can relate to that on some level too, where it's just
yeah.
like you feel like you want to, and that's why Shinji is such a great character too, because I feel like that's a lot of people have
And
that
what's his
feeling.
name? Big Boss. What's his name?
Big Boss.
I know his name's not Big Boss, but like captain of the whole thing.
I feel like you should know all this.
I know.
Here, I'll look it up.
I'm about to
I'm
read
looking
it.
it up. I'm looking it up while
There's
you.
so many characters in that story. It's just hard to like remember all of them.
I read so many books and shit. Like I can't keep all these names. Okay.
Gerald.
Gerard. I've been using this DuckDuckGo instead of
Dude, was the dog
Google.
eating the other dog?
Probably.
Is that a thing in this game?
We
Savage,
should
dude.
talk about that. Sue
Oh, nice. Best character. My favorite character in this game is definitely Predator.
Gendo, of course,
Gendo.
Akari. How did we not remember that?
Shinji Ikari, Gendo. Gendo is a very good character because he's just
Yeah.
haunted by the loss of Yui, essentially, you know? And there's a lot more
Hmm.
if you read the manga, it actually goes more into Yui and Gendo's relationship. And I know you like in the Rebuild series the new character that's in there, and I don't know if you ever plan on reading the mangas, but
She's my cartoon crush.
that character is introduced in the manga, and that's something that's different than in the show. She's someone that I want to say that she liked Gendo as well and tried to take Yui away from Gendo. I can't remember what her exact purpose is. But she was in the university when Gendo and Yui first met. So
Oh, she's a bit older, but
yeah,
she
she
never aged.
see that that's what I'm not fully sure because I guess if you're a pilot in the suit, you don't age. But if she was in a suit that whole time, you know? Because isn't her suit different or some shit? It's not like a normal suit. She's part of a different. I can't remember from the reboot since I've only really watched them like once or twice.
Yeah, there's a
She's part
difference
of a
in
different
the
like faction or
abilities.
something.
Yeah, not abilities, but like I guess
Yeah.
the fallout of it, like the reaction. But yeah, all the same, it's very interesting
Dude,
what can be
baller.
done. I love what the Japanese could do with like a Western like
I feel like anime is
story.
yeah,
And it's,
like Cowboy Bebop and all that stuff.
well, what's Cowboy Bebop supposed to be?
It's just like a mixture. It's like jazz, dude.
No, I know it's Jack. Well, yeah. As far as like, but like, you know how like what's really cool about Ava
Like a
is like it's like
Western
this really
noir.
deep thing.
Yeah.
Right, right. Which is cool in it on its face. Like it's cool. It's
A
just really
space
awesome.
noir, I don't even know. Yeah,
Well, it
I
kind of
just
every episode's like almost a different genre. That's what's
yeah,
so cool
right.
about Bebop.
Right.
Is like,
It changes the aesthetic depending like
see,
what the story is.
that's my favorite anime. I
Yeah,
mean,
that one's an
I love
amazing
Ava,
anime.
but I
I think
love
I
the
connect with
movie's
the
great too.
characters more in I would say the overall execution of Cowboy Bebop is like it's almost not even comparable. You know, it's so good, Cowboy Bebop.
It's so entertaining. Yeah.
Yeah. But I just love the like writing and the characters. For me, I feel I just relate to them a little bit better, I would say. But Cowboy
Mhm.
Bebop is overall more entertaining. If you don't relate or understand what's playing out in Neon Genesis or know anything about the Book of Genesis or like theology, then I feel like the show won't be that interesting just because it's so above the standard form of thinking in a lot of ways. So
Unless you're like really into like something, if you just want something different, like
yeah,
'cause
just
like
out there.
if you're like a fan of if you watch Jump or whatever, and you grew up on like what was the big one where everyone Gundam? I grew up on Gundam. I watched a lot of Gundam when I
Yeah.
Gundam Wing when I was a kid,
Yeah.
and then obviously Dragon Ball and all that shit. But like those are always like more childish. But like when Adult Swim came around, and then Toonami, of course, like this, I remember like when Bebop first came out, and I was just like, I didn't think I was supposed to like it because I thought, oh, this is so uncool. But then again, I wasn't cool, so I don't know why I'd think that. But but I still would like kind of like watch it here and there. I don't know if like I'd ever like watch a whole episode though, but I'd always watch enough and be like, well, it's interesting. And sometimes I'd, because I was always like a nocturnal animal. I always stayed up late. I was always, so I'd always, and that's what was on. I mean, it was either that or some old movie. So,
Yeah.
um, it, there's something about watching a show or a movie at night that is just so much different than any other time of day. Like you just
You know
don't
what the
get
best
that
movie
feeling.
is to watch at night? I feel like you could guess what my answer is going to be. I think I've
Eyes
told you
wide
this.
shut.
Eyes Wide Shut. Eyes Wide
Yeah,
Shut started at 12 and just let the night play out, or even
that's how I
one
watched it
one's a
first.
good time. I feel like one might even be a little bit better of a time because one, you're kind of getting over that threshold of where you know you're kind of going into the third bump of the day. You're kind of
Yeah.
revigorating, but
Well, it
yeah,
was so much
Eyes
more
Wide Shut
naughty
at
too
night. I mean
when
that
you're a
movie.
kid.
Yeah, and the movie's a midnight odyssey, so you need to be being in the same mindset as what Tom Cruise is going through in that film is a surreal display of how smart Stanley Kubrick was and how ahead of the time a lot of the topics and subject matter in that film is
Well, do you
was,
think it got him killed because he was getting a
yeah.
little too close for people's liking? And back then, you could kill people like,
Oh,
or
for
give
sure.
people cancer. Like,
And I'm
let's
not
not,
Chuck
let's not.
Norris.
Well,
Sorry.
do you know like an old I think it was Eastern Germany, East Germany tactic was if they didn't like you, they'd when you would go to the dentist office, they'd keep you under the X-ray a little too long, and then you would develop cancer. That's a thing. Like,
Really?
you know what I mean? Yeah. That's oh fuck. So, you know what I mean? So like I honestly I think
Wow.
that I think with Kubrick, I mean, anyone who used to talk like right now, the internet has opened up so many things, and now that's why they're trying to close the internet with all these different things, but and like trying to search your internet browser history because they know that it's a problem for them. Here, I'm gonna get this.
Yeah, I
It's a
grabbed that,
problem.
yo.
It's a problem for them. And back then, it was
Fuck.
easier to off people, and so they would
Yeah.
off people a lot more. And someone like Kubrick, I
Fucking
mean,
A. Sorry.
anyone who would say anything about the secret societies, which they're usually talking about the CIA, and anyone who's a billionaire or a just a wealthy person is has ties to intelligence, or if they're not intelligent, a part of intelligence themselves, because it behooves them to be part of intelligence. And the great thing about intelligence is you can go deep, 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 and this is why people don't like the deep state, is because we don't elect these people, and we don't know who's truly running our system. Of,
What's
in
up,
the people who
amigos?
are running our system, they don't see themselves as Americans. They
Oh,
see
I know I
themselves
wanted
as
that.
people of the
Oh, Ash
world.
is good. Yeah. Yeah.
So he's exposing these fools for what they are, and then they didn't like that. And
Yeah.
it's like, why does great men like Kubrick have to have such crappy children? Like his daughter, that
Vivian.
the Scientologist, who are just as bad as the Mormons, if not worse. Like, why do great people always have shitty kids?
Who knows, man? Yeah, it's almost, yeah,
Isn't it
especially
weird?
in the case of Kubrick too. You think that someone of his like just ability would have been able to have his children come out in a similar suit. Uh,
Mm-hmm. Exactly. It's
because you
so
know if he,
strange.
and I
It's
would
like,
assume it probably mattered. He seemed like somewhat of a family man, and I know that might be a stretch for some people since he was such a like workhorse, but he did do all of his work from home, minus when he
mhm.
was shooting on location, and he only shot a movie like every 5 years maybe. So
Mhm.
and that's like probably not even close on average, but uh yeah, you think with his just knowledge and study that he'd be able to pull off parenting appropriately. I don't know. But who knows if it's his fault? Anything could happen. There's so much persuasion in this world, and it goes beyond just parenting at this point with the access and advent of just digital technology and be able to have your fingertips everywhere. It's a double edged sword. You learn a lot, but if you're not taking and consuming in the right content, you're the
He-
Nietzsche talked about that in something I was reading today. It's do you want overabundance and or underabundance? And it's better to have overabundance and not to have underabundance in this case. Just like at least
yeah.
consume a lot of very healthy things, you know. Anyways,
Well, do you think some part of it has to? It's that Sinji thing where she never got daddy's approval.
you to
Maybe
Asuka? Oh,
no,
Shinji.
no,
Yeah, yeah.
Sinji. Yeah, because like the daddy's approval is so big, you know.
Come on, Stallone,
So come on, you
bitch.
know.
What's up?
My girlfriend and her father said they saw Stallone recently,
Where?
and he looks damn good at a restaurant. I think they went to like
In Camarillo?
no, it was around like one of those hospitals in Los Angeles or whatever to go after a checkup or whatever because
Oh,
of
okay.
a medical thing. And they like went to an Italian restaurant nearby, and he just like
Oh
walks
my
in like
god. Was he just
to like
wearing a really tight black t-shirt with just
you know he was.
smuggling raisins underneath there too, where his nips are?
How big do you think
Do you
Sylvester
think it
Stallone's
looked like...
nipples are?
Dude, they're
How
probably
big do you think
fucking...
they are?
They're probably massive, dude.
They're like pepperoni slices. He's an Italian. You got some pepperoni slices, some
Oh my
sausages.
god. Do you think his skin is like transparent? It's so
Oh my.
thin and old. You can see
It's
the
just poured
blood,
over
just
his
like
face.
the blood pumping through his veins.
I will say he's doing it right because once you hit a certain age, you should 100% do steroids. Like, everyone should do steroids once they hit 70, no matter what. Like, testosterone, all of it. Like, why not at that age? Like,
How
what do
much?
you have to
How
lose?
long do you think Joe Rogan's routine is in the morning?
Oh my God, so
Just,
long.
like the things that he talks about on that show, and like, I do this and this. I'm like, dude, how long is your routine?
Shit.
Because my routine is I wake up, take a shower, get out, brush my teeth, do all the stuff that I have to do in the bathroom. That takes about altogether, maybe if I want to be leisurely, 20 minutes.
Hmm.
And then I'm out, and I usually wake up, put the coffee to brew before I get in the shower, and then by the time I come out, I'm ready to do like my morning reading or meditation or whatever the hell I have to do. And but
Do
I'm
you do
like, dude,
meditation?
hell yeah, dude. I've been doing it for like the last 6 months. And this sounds so Joe Rogan and so LA right now. But dude,
Oh shit.
meditation is I do it twice a day. I do it right when I wake up, and I do it around 6 every day because for some reason at 6, that's when I have my existential crisis every day.
How do you do your meditation? I know
I
I don't
do.
meditate. I probably should.
I have the Headspace app. I've tried the Sam Harris Wake Up app, and I think it depends on what you're looking for. The intellectual aspects of Sam Harris's app are far superior to Headspace's app, but I don't like Sam Harris's guided meditations. I don't think him personally doing it would have been my choice. I just don't think his voice works for it. But
Hmm.
Headspace, you can choose like male or female, and you can choose like have your routine, and there's a lot of different stuff. And there's sleeping, uh,
Can I get
meditation.
Gilbert Godfrey going through my meditation with me?
Probably. There's like so many different types of meditation apps out there, but Headspace is the one that I've been using since like November. And I do like a 20-minute one in the morning and then a 20-minute one in around 6 at the start of the evening. So,
That's,
and
you
I've
know,
tried to do something after the 6 p.m. one. I don't do it all the time just because it depends on what I have going on. And it's right after Nora leaves, so maybe not 6. Like 6:37 is when I actually do it, but I try to take time where I do meditation just by myself and I just think, and I don't have any like music, I don't have my phone, I don't have anything playing, and it's just me sitting staring, just essentially staring at the wall.
I used to do that when I was a kid a lot.
Yeah.
I think I was just like spent, you know. Okay, I think we lost. Okay, no, I didn't know that was a thing. They just keep
Do you
coming
just
in.
think the United States is like, God damn, someone get this guy under control? What is he doing?
Reel him in! Reel him in! Other guy's like, oh, I have to be the next one?
Alright, I think it's coming to that time, man.
Yeah, it's getting pretty late.
Yeah, this has been a good episode. We're definitely going to have more to come with this one. I think,
Yeah, I want to apologize to all of our LDS listeners. I get a little heated. I mean, you guys are idiots, but I shouldn't be that mean. So I'm sorry again.
we just want to remind all of our future followers that this is a cult, but don't take us too serious. We're just a couple guys in LA. We're filmmakers. We're people that like to discuss topics, debate here and there, talk philosophy, talk about what we're watching, what we're seeing, what we're participating in. And tonight was all about the LA riots. That's something that's affecting the community that we live in. And I thought our essay right here was a bad guy, but we felt that to have a proper understanding this and to further dissect it, we needed to see it in person. Do we have all the right answers? Do we have any remedies? No, I don't think so. But we want to create a community where we can talk about that, you know? And are we going to be
We should
right
just
all of the
finish this
time?
level. We're actually doing
Yeah,
pretty
fuck
good.
it.
Let's beat this boss.
Yeah, let's do it.
We're
Are
gonna
we?
we're gonna hang on around for a few more minutes.
Yeah,
Here.
guys. We're going to hang around a little bit longer. But just remember, your first act should not be hating someone in life. Look at this guy.
We have to knock him off the edge, I think. So I think he just keeps coming back. Yeah.
Oh, dude, he just fucking just stomped me. Yo, where are our homies at, dude?
They're right there. They're like shooting him. I think.
Yo, save my arse.
We have
Oh,
to-
dude, look at little homie. Oh shit.
Get him to the edge. We have to get him
Yeah,
to the
we
edge.
can just blow him off the. If he just continues to break the ground underneath him, remember when you guys
Oh,
were doing
yeah.
this?
Okay.
I'll do.
Get another life. Get this guy over here. Oh shit.
We're so close. Fuck, he's gonna kill me. Let me. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I was able
Everyone,
to
that's how you liberate an area, guys. That was something, wasn't it? Can you believe it? Can you believe it?
48?
It's been almost 2 hours.
Damn. And meanwhile, it's like been like an hour 10.
I think it's actually been like. How long has it been? What
No,
time
I'm
do we
kidding.
start?
'Cause I'm talking about Rogan. Like they
Oh,
use those.
oh,
It's
yeah,
been 3 hours.
yeah.
It's like, dude, you're off by like 45 minutes. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I love when Joe Rogan tries to get off the air. It's like so obvious with him. He doesn't poker face very well sometimes.
No, he's bad at that. But
All right,
yeah,
dude.
no, it's been great. It's been fun, guys. Again, you know,
Do you know you can kill these
We're- we-
seagulls?
I think for the first time I played this game, instead of like finding a level, I just did that for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, you should get like bonus points or some shit.
Yeah,
All right,
I know.
Doug. It's been
All
a
right.
pleasure.
See you,
Everyone,
folks.
that's
Thanks
another
again.
episode of the Pancake Mix. That's Zachary. That's Zach Calm. And it's been an exceptional episode. Thank you for your input. Like I said, guys, don't take us too serious. We're just trying to have a good time. And if you like what we're seeing, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Zach, do you want to throw anything out there?
No, I mean it's fun talking shit with you, man. I love it. It's we're East Coasters. That's what we do. You know, if you want to follow me, I mean, you'll get annoyed, but it's at Zackcalm, ZACKKULM, and I mean, I'm not gonna associate some of my other pages with this because I say a lot of stupid shit. So, yeah.
All right. I'll catch everyone later. Peace.